He was bragging the other day on news, 190 or 290 somewhere. It's $5.50 a gallon. I miss my Uncle Joe. I was balling then.
I'm Jerry Bees for Raw America, and since the start of the Trump regime's war with Iran, gas prices have continued to skyrocket. According to AAA, just in the past week, gas prices in California, Arizona, and Nevada have all gone up at least 50 cents a gallon. Sure, the United States is largely independent on its own oil, but when your goal is to dismantle the infrastructure of one of the biggest players in global oil production, you're going to feel the effects at home. Well, Trump obviously doesn't feel much. He's already said it's okay if people die, but his voters still feel it. But here's how a couple of Trump voters are feeling at the pumps right now.
Right now, whiplash over the price of oil as President Trump sends mixed messages on the path forward with Iran. The price per barrel recovering from yesterday's high of $120, now at around $90 a barrel, but that number is still drastically higher than when the U.S. entered this war. It's an economic indicator that could impact inflation, shipping costs, and the price at the pump. And yesterday, President Trump said he expected this would happen.
We're looking to keep the oil prices down. We went artificially up because of this excursion into a very positive thing. I mean, this was an excursion that a lot of people wouldn't have done. I knew oil prices would go up if I did this, and they've gone up probably less than I thought they'd go up.
See, folks, it's fine. The prices didn't go up nearly as much as he thought they would. See, there's a silver lining in every draconian cloud.
Let's bring in MS Now reporter Alex Tabbitt at a gas station in Lantana, Florida, and author of The Message of the Markets Substack, Ron Insana. Alex, AAA says prices at gas stations across the U.S. are averaging about 62 cents higher than where we saw those prices a month ago. Tell us about the conversations you're having with drivers there in Florida.
Well, Anna, the worry is real because the pain at the pump is real. At this gas station just behind me, a gallon goes for about $3.79, diesel $5.19. Now, we've been chatting to two South Floridians who tell two very different stories of two very different Americas. One is Eric Silverman. He's a real estate investor. We chatted with him after he was filling up his luxury car with premium gas. And the other is Richard Stanley. He's a construction worker who we talked to right after he filled up his pickup truck with diesel. I want you to hear from both of these men about how they're processing this moment.
Oil prices go up and down, stock market goes up and down, interest rates go up and down. In the short run, it sucks, but I think that it's going to be short run.
He was bragging the other day on news, 190 or 290 somewhere. It's $5.50 a gallon. I miss my Uncle Joe. I was balling then. Now, I couldn't even tell you. I couldn't even show you $5 in my pocket.
Never, and I mean never in my life would I think that a Trump supporter would even consider uttering the sentence, "I miss my Uncle Joe." We've gone from "Let's go, Brandon" to "Please, for the love of fuck, come back. I don't care if you're asleep all the time. I just need gas for my 2007 Ford Ranger." And I really do love this clip because it shows a great job at the ever-growing wealth gap in this country. For people like Mr. Silverman, they'll be fine, and they have been fine. He's got a seemingly very well-paying job and can't be bothered to look at the prices for groceries or gas because he's got it. But for Mr. Stanley and the rest of us just trying to make an honest living, we have to start playing Jenga with our wallets. Can I fit a full tank of gas into the budget? Will the price of my health insurance just crumble my savings? And do you all remember the Biden "I did that" stickers that MAGA voters were just so keen to put on the pumps a couple of years back? Where the hell are those for Trump? Because I certainly haven't seen any at the gas station since this conflict has started. I understand that in normal conditions, the president doesn't directly control the price of gas. But in no universe can you argue that the Biden administration did anything close to what the Trump administration is doing right now to affect gas prices. Biden did a lot of shit that me and a lot of other progressives didn't agree with. But going over Congress's head to enact a holy war certainly wasn't one of them. But Mr. Stanley isn't the only Trump voter licking his wounds from the leopards that ate his face after being warned that these leopards do in fact eat faces. Gas prices are just the most recently glaring price hike in addition to everything else. An account named Keith Peterson posted to Facebook writing, I'm going to throw this out there, and I don't care if you agree with it or disagree with it, because this is my belief. This is the way I think, and this is the way I feel. I voted for Trump because I knew he'd bring prices down as far as fuel, groceries, the essentials, to make it easier for us older Americans. But what's happening is he's increasing it. And what's funny is the fuel is going up to 10, 20, maybe 30% more, as well as our groceries or electricity. Just our daily living is going to be increased 10, 20, or 30% because of this war. Yeah, the way they read the inflation index is, increase maybe 0.2 or 0.3%. You're crazy. If you live on Social Security, this war is killing older generations, older people. Somebody needs to put a stop to this. Somebody needs to do something. So you going to tell me that Iran was going to use nuclear weapons to try and take over the world, yet at the same time destroy the world because of the nuclear weapons? It makes no sense to me. To which the owner of whatever group this is chimed in and replied with, "You're a traitor and a shitbag." To which Keith Peterson aptly replies, "Suck on thesis nut dumbass." Another one writes, "Your first term was great." Was it? This whole second term has been a complete disaster, and I voted for you. Groceries aren't cheaper, rates are still insane, gas is expensive, the cost of living in this country continues to rise. Home ownership is at an all-time low. The average age of a home buyer is up to Home ownership is at an all-time low. The average age of a home buyer is up to the 60s. I'm pretty sure more people are defaulting on auto loans than ever before. The actual U.S. citizens are scared to leave their homes because they feared they might be detained or even murdered. My life has not changed one bit since you took over again. You're no better than Biden. How about actually putting Americans first for once? Instead of worrying about all of these foreign wars and leaders. And it's important to remember, we're at the start of this thing. You may not be a history buff, but the U.S. doesn't exactly have a great track record of getting in and out of a conflict in the Middle East with any kind of hurry. Well, there was that one time in Kuwait, but when I have to start comparing you to a Bush administration, the bar is clearly lower than any gas price in the country. Point is, bet on it getting worse. Actually, I'm sure there's a bet for this on Polymarket or something.
So, Ron, we saw oil prices seesaw wildly in the last 24 hours. Iran is now threatening a total blockade, saying it won't let 1 liter of oil leave the Middle East as these attacks continue. What further volatility could that cause?
Well, it really depends on, the president also suggested seizing the Strait of Hormuz from Iran and engaging in some military activity there that would allow for safe passage of oil coming out. But there's been some damage to oil infrastructure. We're hearing from Saudi Aramco that if this goes on for quite some time, it's going to be difficult to repair in the short run. So really, it's the duration of this conflict that's going to matter to the price of oil and how quickly those facilities that have been hurt by this can get back online. As we've discussed and everybody seems to know by now, about 20% of the world's oil and liquefied natural gas comes through the Strait of Hormuz. So we see a reduction in supply around the world. It affects Europe and Asia even more than it does the United States. We produce about 13.7 million barrels a day, which is a record, and we're the largest producer of oil in the world now. But it still has a global impact on prices, and it hits everybody squarely in the wallet.
And that's just for you and me. We can more effectively gauge how hard the economy is getting shafted when we look at our own wallets, but it's all connected. In my eyes, not a thing will change until corporate interests are involved. But if their bottom line isn't being affected, well, then there's no real incentive they have to pressure the Trump administration. Maybe the midterms will, and let's hope we get that far. If you want more stories like this, remember to subscribe to Raw America, like it so more people like you get the chance to see it, and as always, let me know your thoughts on my thoughts down in the comments below. I've been Jerry Bees for Raw America, and until next time, take it easy.